Oh, hello. Why is this not working? Oh, yay! It broke my control config. Thank you. I have to reset this again. Let's see. Input and hotkeys. Counter, how you doing? Up, down, left, right, left, start. I'm glad you're doing good. There, because I don't think that button has a use. Maybe that one. There. 1:30 a.m. Well, I'm glad you think that I'm worth your time, considering how early it is. There we go. Now that my controls aren't completely borked. Howdo, everybody! Welcome to my new Let's Stream series, Kirby Super Star Ultra. This is a 2008 remake of a Super Nintendo game, originally Kirby Superstar. It's updated graphically, and it's obviously for the DS, as you can see by the double screens on screen right now. And it has some extra games. Ooh, no one likes intros. Well, sorry, you hopped into one of my Let's Plays instead of one of my casual streams. This is kind of how they go. Give me just a second here to finish posting links, folks, and we can get started.
Oh, yo.
And we have Kupo here, too.
I mean, Kupo, yes.
Wait a minute.
There's nothing strange about this move at all, Kupo.
I don't trust this. You're suspicious.
Oh no, he's getting to me. Where's my jet? Phew.
I'll make this the most demonetized Let's Play ever. Not just kidding. Joke's on you. I'm not monetized to begin with. But I am glad to have you here. Thank you. I appreciate the good humor. Just a moment. That's fine. You're basically just going to be acting like a second Abstract. Abstractadvocat's a fellow streamer friend of mine who, he talks a lot too. I think you and him will get along just fine if your main, selling points is being a chatterbox. Alright, well, anyway. So, I finally have the links posted, everything should be good to go. So before we actually get started, you'll notice the layout's a bit different. I have the top screen as the major one, the bottom screen down there in the corner, and a huge black space so y'all can see chat. So, hopefully that'll work out. So let's get started, shall we? I am playing this on an emulator, so unfortunately, two-player co-op's out of the question. So to compensate, we have co-commentary instead.
Hello.
Thank you, Counter. So, you do not get... Oh, yay, we have a heckler. Fun! Rip. Anyway, so, like I said before, Kirby Super Star Ultra is a remake of the original Kirby Superstar for the Super Nintendo. So, we're going to be starting with the only game currently available. It's a sort of a chapter-based kind of Kirby game. Not a lot of Kirby games are like this. Most of them are linear platformers. But, let's see. If we head into Spring Breeze, this is the only chapter we have that isn't a sub-game. This is the first chapter. We'll get started here, and it'll branch out more as we unlock more chapters. Fun fact, Spring Breeze is actually a truncated version of the original Kirby's Dream Land. It was like this in the original, too. You can tell that, besides the level layout and bosses, the credits from the original game will be at the end here. So let's get started. I'll see that in a second, thank you. crap. Hey, Kupo, I forgot something. Whoops! I forgot to hit the record button.
Well,
So, greetings, YouTube land. I forgot to hit the record button for the start of the stream, so we're starting here instead of at the usual start screen, or what's supposed to be the usual start screen. Welcome to Let's Play Kirby Super Star Ultra. We're starting here on Spring Breeze. Y'all missed the opening bit. Sorry. This will be a nice blooper start. Yeah. Anyway, I could skip the tutorial, but actually, yeah, I'll just skip it. I've played the game before, and I can probably do this more comprehensively than the game can. I haven't done an actual recording in so long, I forgot to hit the button. So anyway, standard Kirby controls, you use the D-pad to move around. You double tap in any direction, you will dash. Down, you will crouch. This heavily reduces your hitbox, so it is pretty useful. Up on its own doesn't do anything. Let's see, you press A to jump, B to use your active ability or attack, which in this case is inhaling. Okay, so Y just acts like a second A button. Nice to know. And then X doesn't have a use yet because we don't have a power. Let's see, if you press jump while ducking, you'll do a slide kick. And pressing A again in midair will cause you to float. This is one of the Kirby games where you can float in midair indefinitely. That's fine. Alright, so anyway, let's get on with it. We had a power there, but I got rid of him to avoid any trouble. So we'll go in here and get a new one. So, if you attack, you will inhale an enemy. If you have your mouth full like this, you can either spit them out, like I did earlier, or if you press down, you'll swallow them. If the enemy has a special ability when you swallow them, you'll take the ability for yourself. Each ability has its own movesets, which you can view by opening the pause menu. I'll try my best to go over each of the moves as we encounter them. So first here we have Cutter. This is a pretty staple Kirby ability. Your basic attack is just throwing these bladed boomerangs. Do note they are bladed. They can cut ropes. That will be a factor later. You can't control the arc or the trajectory of them in this game, so... can't do, like, roundabout trick shots or anything. This is also one of the few games where Cutter has a melee attack. We have a dash attack, too. Dash attacks in this game are really good, by the way. Oop.
One thing I could also add to this is Cutter has a really interesting air attack, too.
I was trying to do the melee combo. There we go. Alright, so here's something.
Oh, yeah.
If I press X, I make a helper. This helper will act completely autonomously. He will act 100% on his own. If I was playing two-player, this is where the second player would come into play with whatever ability I happen to give them. As a single-player run, though, I'm mostly going to be using helpers to sort of like store my powers of preference. So now that we actually have an ability, if you press select, you can discard your ability as a star. With a active helper, if you press X, you'll use that thing called the normal beam. If this hits a helper, it reverts them into a power item, which you can then swallow again to get your ability back. You can kind of cheese multiplayer this way, because if you remake the helper, they'll get all their HP back. So you can kind of use that to play healer for your friend. Alright, here we go. First boss, Wispy Woods. Easy peasy. Always is, always will be.
The classic.
And the Kirby dance. So I'm probably going to be getting rid of Cutter in here for a more preferential power. Cutter's okay, but I will usually prefer different abilities if I can get one. Okay, so here we have Fighter. Fighter's a bit interesting, because the abilities you use are dependent on how hard you hit the attack button. Like here, I'm just kind of tapping the attack button. If I press and hold it, he does a big punch. That slide kick was a light tap. Oh, okay. Here's something. If you dash, you can cross over 1-block-wide gaps instead of jumping up and hitting those spikes. By the way, as for the bottom screen's mostly just UI elements. Oh, hold on. You can have that. You fool! I wanted that power! You know what? I'm banishing you. I wanted ice. Because ice is cool, pun somewhat intended.
You only needed to chill.
Alright. Can somebody say invincibility?
Good old invincibility.
I just remembered I'm gonna want this. Because there is a one-shot ability in here that I want. Actually, wait. First, you make a helper so I can get this ability later, and then take this one. Yes, I appreciate your chats. So we can just cheese this boss with the crash ability. There are some abilities that are unique that cannot create helpers that are limited use. I believe there's 4. One of them's technically a hidden Easter egg, but there is 4 such abilities in this game. Crash is one of them. If I could time my jumps and grab the star. Oh dear, hang on a second. Have to do a little bit of minor fixing. One moment. Yeah, there's a little bit of... Yeah, a little bit of stray pixel. There we go, let's fix that, and we're good. Right. So I'll go ahead and take this. Hate to break it to you, Counter, but I'm a guy. Okay, well, I was going to show off something nice about the sword ability there, but I got hit, so... Get some food. Okay, so as you can see, yeah, it's fine. As you can see, since we're wearing the trademark green hat, sword is a reference to The Legend of Zelda. To further go along with this reference, if you are at full health whenever you do your basic attack, well, I can't do it now because freaking Sir Kibble, you will fire a sword beam at full health. Aaron, how you doing, buddy?
Sword beam is really good.
Yeah, the sword beam's really nice. And what I really like about sword is the dash attack. I love dash attacks in this game because 90% of them give you iframes. Case in point.
That sword skill is ridiculously good, especially later on when you get a certain character who just is only sword attacks.
Pretend. We have another chatter in here, Counter. You don't need to spam as much. Okay, so this again, I want to make a helper to get that ability right there. And I want to hang on to this one. Ooh, good. I got it. What's wrong, Aaron? Why are you depressed? What's wrong? Okay, I want to be really careful doing this because I don't want to slide into spikes. There we go. I want to be really careful not to take any unnecessary damage because I might lose my power if I'm not careful. Thankfully, my helper is not completely useless on his own. Alright, there's going to be a dude that's going to fall from the middle. And just like the first Kirby game, the moon has a secret door. be a 1-up, like over here we can grab. There we go. Yeah, like most Kirby games, you can see down the bottom screen we have a health bar. If that bottoms out, we lose a life. And that is Mike Kirby. You ain't taking that. And now we have a hammer, the only source of hammer in this game mode.
For good reason.
Hammer is probably the most powerful ability in the game. That's like a standard one.
Yeah.
Now something else you can do there, if you press the shoulder buttons, you will guard. You can use this to block most attacks. I also want to apologize if you guys hear meowing in the background. That's just my cat. Now,
Meow.
interestingly, there is actually a stage cut from Spring Breeze that the original had. One of the bosses was cut. We will see what happened to that one later. Took on a social media position that I feel like I'm way over my head. Also questioning... Uh-oh. Ooh. Okay, yeah, that went through my guard. Also questioning real life jobs and Taekwondo for sweat mood for me. Too much change stresses. I fully agree. I understand how that feels. Okay, good. Want to go in full health if we can? Let's go, DDD! And we can just, stun lock him with the hammer for the most part. Now, something you'll notice about the hammer, if we didn't kill him, when you smack the hammer down with just your regular attack, a star pops out. That extends your hitbox a little bit. It's weaker than the hammer itself, though. Have I ever played Mario Kart Super Circuit? I am not a fan of the Mario Kart games. Because hammer. And trust me, that's not even the most damaging move that hammer can do.
The hammer is very, very good against bosses. There's only like 2 that can really compete with it in terms of damage. And even then, they're not as easy to play as just simple hammer.
And one of those is also co-op exclusive.
Yeah.
Super Circuit's the GBA Mario Kart. Okay. Yeah, no, never played it. Mario Kart wasn't really my thing. I'm sorry you're having a rough time there, Aaron. I hope you can relax a little. And that's chapter 1 cleared. Now, you guys will notice we just cleared the first chapter in about 20 minutes. Super Star Ultra is not a long game. So, let's see. Kupo, I'll let you decide our next goal. So...
Usually I like going just straight to, Dino Blade after this.
Alright, Dino Blade it is. So this is going to be much like Spring Breeze. It's going to be more linear platforming. But we got everyone's food back, and now... Dynablade's destroying crops and stuff. Like, look at this! The bird just flew by and cut hills off. I'm assuming those are hills anyway. Only this time, we have a little world map. I believe there is a Sir Kibble down here. Yeah, that's the name of that guy, Sir Kibble. He gives cutter. Alright, this is a Parasol Waddle Dee. We can get Parasol. I don't like Parasol very much because its dash attack is awful. Let's see. Ow. Well, now I'm just going to get Parasol back, so definitely don't want that. Beam's actually not that bad. Beam has a grab. You know what? I'll take you in lieu of nothing else. Keep in mind, I'm also playing this as I'm playing this on an emulator. I'm not playing this on a native controller, so the controls might be a bit wonky, so some of my inputs may not read correctly. Andy. Oh, I should have grabbed him. Oh well. Oh, hey! Beam! This is a bare basic ability in most Kirby games. Your standard attack, you have this Beam Whip. A Belmont Kirby is not, but still pretty effective. Oh, dude, I love Kirby. And now, granted, I haven't played anything past... I actually think Super Star Ultra was the latest Kirby game I played.
And I played way too much Kirby.
You know, my favorite Kirby game is actually The Amazing Mirror. I think I'm a minority in that regard. But yeah, let's go over basic movesets since we have the ability. I believe we can get Sword in here. Yeah. So Beam, your standard attack, you have the Lash. If you do a dash attack, you'll do that sort of thing that can hit multiple times. Let's see, if you jump, I believe it's just dash, jump. Yeah, dash, jump, and fire. This is not a good room for it. Because that thing was in the way. The Game Boy ones were good. But yeah, for Beam, if you do a dash and then jump and attack in midair, you'll do a little projectile spray, and also raise your height a little bit. Beam also has a charge shot, and interestingly, Beam also has a grab. Now, for grabs, you have to be right next to the enemy, and then either push towards them, up, or down while you're facing them, and attack. There we go, like this, and then you can kind of change your rotation, press attack again to throw them. Throws and grabs are really powerful. They're tricky to pull off, but the end damage from the throw is generally worth it. Now, swords... Yep, go ahead.
Okay, that's also gets really busted with my favorite ability, which is Jet later, but there's a very funny thing with the grab for Jet.
Oh, yes, the fart grab.
Yes.
Okay, so going over Sword, you've already seen me do the basic attack and the Sword Beam. You've seen me do the dash attack. Sword actually has a 3-hit combo. So, like, you have your basic attack, 1, 2, and if you do 3, that multi-stab at the end, you'll notice Kirby's flashing white. Whenever Kirby's flashing white like that, he has iframes. So if you see during the dash attack, he has that too. Let's see, your standard jump slash. If you dash and do an air attack, you'll do that spin. You press down in the air while jumping. Or down in the air while down an attack in midair, you'll do a down stab. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's any other moves. I can't think of any. I think that's all of them.
I think that's all of them? Yeah.
Anyway. Whoa. Invincibility time! Oh, come on. There we go. Alright, here we have another one-shot ability. We've already seen Mike and Crash. This is Cook. Cook, like most one-shot abilities, is a screen nuke. However, this screen nuke turns enemies into food. Okay, now I actually have to kind of focus for this one because I want to try and get that gauge at the top. Got it. Even accounting for input lag, that was perfect. That's Kirby for you. Cartoony, but at the same time, really dark. Okay, so you may notice this stage has a little path spiking off of it. That means there's a secret in here. I mean, yeah, that's kind of his whole thing. Okay, now this door is a trap. I am not going to go in there. We'll run into the enemies that appear in there at a later time. Okay, this is a new enemy, Biospark. He gives the ninja ability. They are really annoying to fight. This actually gives me a good opportunity to explain the underwater controls. Not all copy abilities can be used underwater. General rule of thumb is if the ability gives you a weapon that he holds in his hand, you can use it underwater. I believe in this game that limits him to sword, parasol, and hammer. And technically stone as well, but stone you have to use the attack out of the water and then fall in.
Yeah.
But we'll go over that when we actually have to use stone. Every ability is useful at one point in time or another. I just have certain abilities that I prefer to use if something is not required.
That's part of what I really like about Super Star Ultra, is like all of the abilities at least have a purpose in this game.
Case in point. Mirror. This is one of my favorite sort of specialist abilities. It's a very defensive power. And here we have the secret for the level. You attack this switch. That is fair counter. So, Mirror, as the name suggests, is really defensive and all about reflecting projectiles. Your basic attack is swinging your staff. That does more damage than the mirrors you shoot afterwards if you hold it. Any projectile that hits these mirror images will bounce back at the opponent, and if it hits them, will do massive damage. You have a dash attack as Mirror, which lets you do this. You do have iframes while you're split apart. So you can use that as kind of a dodge, though it is kind of unreliable. And something nice is that Mirror is one of the few abilities in the game that improves your guard. Any projectile that hits that glowing sphere will be bounced back, and any attack that normally pierces your guard, with very few exceptions, will be blocked without you taking any damage. There's, like, I think, 2 attacks in the game that can actually hurt you through this. Yeah, that right there is more or less what I'm going to be using the helper summon ability for, is just so the helper can hold on to the ability I actually want to use, and I can use whatever puzzle-solving ability I need to use. Watch out for the exploding coconuts. That little dozy dude right there that I just stabbed, he gives an ability too, but it's one we definitely don't want to be getting right now. Especially not in an auto-scrolling section. I'm assuming that's the name of a restaurant. Ooh, actually, I want to show something off with that guy. I've never had it, so I can't say. Ah, British restaurant. Yep, that'd do it. Okay, next time I find one of those wheel enemies, I actually want to copy him. Oh, never mind. There's a copy pedestal here. So I want this guy to become this, and we can get a new power in the form of Wheelie Rider. You're not the first person who's made that mistake. So, Wheelie Rider is a purely cooperative power. You need a second player or a helper in order to use it. And what makes this really powerful in 2-player is that the second player actually controls the wheelie bike. Whereas in this version, or since I'm playing 1-player, okay, I need you to dodge that, and wha-bam! Full HP.
And Wheelie has some really weird times it has iframes.
Yeah,
Wheel
Wheel is weird. But hey, I guess I have a wheelie for a bit, and now I can't heal him, so when he dies, oh well. But in 2-player mode, when you're playing with Wheelie Rider, the second player controls the wheelie, like with the dash attacks and moving around and stuff. The first player has a special projectile attack that can be free-aimed. So here we're introduced to a puzzle mechanic, which is where we need to use an ability to solve a puzzle. Specifically, we need to use hammer to pound in this peg. Stone can do this too, but we're expected to use hammer for this. Perfect. Ooh, we got a boss encounter. You, come here. Alright, I'm gonna wait for you to charge at me first. Boom! Alright, so I want to head up here real quick. This is a copy room. You'll find these throughout the game with all these various copy pedestals, and you can use these to get the abilities and practice them to your heart's content. Wait, let me off. So I want to go ahead and cover Hammer, because I'm probably going to be trying to keep Hammer for a bit. Your basic attack with Hammer is just a Hammer Smash. It is a lot of fun. It really is. Yeah, that's your basic Hammer Smash. You can't hold it like you can in Squeak Squad. If you dash, you'll do that dash attack. You are invincible while doing it, even though Kirby is not flashing. This thing has very generous iframes and is very controllable. Have a good night, Counter. I appreciate you coming in. Get off the wheelie. Much like with Sword, if you do a jump attack while dashing, you'll do a double spin. You can also do a single spin by going slow. And then what makes Hammer really powerful, especially against bosses, is if you are on the ground and press up and attack. Boom! Hammer flip. You catch your hammer on fire and just smack a dude. That does a lot of damage, and I'm pretty sure, aside from the one-shot abilities, that is the single most damaging copy ability attack in the game.
Yes, because certain mini-bosses are outright one-shotted by it.
Yep. Okay, Knuckle Joe, we don't want anything to do with you. Oh yeah, for sure. Ah, no iframes, why? I know you can jump while doing that. It's not letting me jump for some reason. Oh well, I'm not going to worry too much about it. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, the iframes are so good on that.
Okay, here, you can have this, because I want to show this off. If you suck up this guy, let's get out of the way of that bomb. There we go. That was... you again? Okay, so that thing I just sucked up was a naughty. If you swallow it, you get the joke ability, Sleep.
That's my favorite pause message.
Let me see if I can actually get that pause message, because there actually are little blurbs for each power. I feel that's so hard.
I know, right?
Now, Sleep is, and more or less always has been, a joke power. It's there just to get in your way and nothing else. However, there are some games, the Kirby Squeak Squad comes to mind, where you actually can use Sleep to recover some hit points. But, like I said, there's only one game in the series that I know of that does that. Now, this is a question for you, Koopo, because you would probably know more about game mechanics than I would. You may have noticed earlier that, Kirby did, like, instead of doing the smash, he did kind of like that. I don't know what causes that. It's no different in terms of, like, attack power or anything. It's just a different animation, and I'm not sure what causes it.
I think it's one of those things where it's like if you press forward it does it, but when you don't it does like a second before you do it for some reason.
Ah, I never knew that, because okay, it's if you press forward and attack at the same time.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though, like here, he's doing it, but I'm not pressing forward, I'm just pressing the attack button.
Yeah.
Sleep is definitely relatable. Oh, that's Stone. Rocky, which is the stone enemy there, has a lot of HP. Yeah. Okay, now here's something we can show off. If you suck up 2 enemies that have a power and swallow them at once, You get a roulette wheel. Mix. Now, usually there's an Easter egg. Okay, not in this case, but a lot of Kirby games, if you go for mix, there is usually an Easter egg if you get a specific mix combo and wait the timer out. It's determined by what enemies you swallow. Usually it's 2 naughties at the same time. If you let it run out, you get an Easter egg. But sometimes it's 2 Rockies or 2 of any other enemy. Ooh, that was a gym. Yo-Yo is actually not that bad of a power. Give me that. Because 1-ups follow gravity, food does not. Okay, here we have our first introduction to lava tiles. These things hurt. Touch them and get burned. Ah! No! No! Let me go! Thankfully, the game is really generous with food for the most part.
Especially in the earlier modes.
Yep. Alright, so these cannons here actually do have a name. They're called Shatso. They're invulnerable. Don't try to kill them. They're more obstacles than actual enemies. Alright, Knuckle Joe, we don't want anything to do with you. Now, you gotta be careful with Knuckle Joe, because if you leave him alive long enough, and I'm talking like 3 seconds, he will just run up and grab your backside. Alright, here's one of the more interesting mini-bosses. This is Bugsy. Don't get near him, he'll grab you. Boom! I would show off Suplex, but Hammer's just too much fun. Ah, oh, not quite perfect. Can I still make it, though? Oh, did I make it? No, just short. Oh, dang it. So my streak has been broken. Okay, so Koopo, do we want to go over copy abilities as we find them in one of the copy rooms here or in another chapter?
Let's do it in the copy rooms.
Okay. Do we want to start here, or do we want to wait until we have a chapter that actually has more copy rooms?
Let's start the ones here. That way we have less to introduce later.
Okay. Might want to keep a list as to which ones we're actually showing off.
Yeah.
Okay, gotta wait for Burning Leo to get out of the way. Down we go. Follow the pointed watermelons. So one thing I want to make note of, these spike ball guys, these are like Shatsos. They're called Gordos. They are more obstacles than enemies, despite the fact that they aren't anthropomorphized. They have eyeballs. But they're basically just spiky obstacles that either stationary or float around. You cannot kill them. So don't even try. And here we have the Donkey Kong barrel cannons. You have to wait for it to orient a specific way, you hit A, and it fires you out of the cannon.
A great Funky Kong found his way to this game, too.
Yep.
Takes more of his barrels.
Now, technically you're supposed to use fire for this, but Hammer also has a dash attack that makes you invincible, so I can do this with Hammer just fine. As if Hammer wasn't already powerful enough. No! Wait, hang on. No, I can't get it. Actually,
so close.
I don't think Wing could get in there. I don't think so, anyway. Oh well, I'll go around and get it.
Yeah, I forgot how far away Wings Reach is.
It's mostly the shockwaves that I'm curious about. Anyway, let's go!
Actually, I think the shockwaves on Wing is really huge because remember with a boss, you can literally hit both at the same time with Wing.
Oh, I know exactly what boss you're talking about, but I don't think it goes through walls is the main thing. Here's another use for Hammer. Hammer Flip can light fuses.
And there's a fire attack.
Yep. I like Hammer if it's not obvious. Now, the level secret is back here. Take that, Switch. Okay, now that bomb block there is a trap. Don't hit it. That one is too. Now you want to watch out for these little cat ninja things that are shooting their hands out at me. That is an enemy called Tack. They will steal your ability from you. And if you have a helper, they'll even kidnap your helper and like instantly kill them. Now this one we do want to hit because that opens this up. More lives is never a bad thing.
The attacks are nabbing my allies.
No!
After my sentries.
Spy sapping my sentry! Tax sealing my allies! Quick, we need to perform a tack check. That is the one thing about Hammer Flip, it does leave you vulnerable. Boom! Take that, Mr. Frosty!
As I said earlier, it one-shots certain enemies.
Let's get stupid!
Hammer time.
Ah, missed again. My groove has been thrown off.
I'm sorry, sir, but you messed with his groove. I'm sorry.
I think this is the boss stage. Yeah, Dynablade's Nest. So let's go to all the copy rooms real quick and look at the powers we have available here at the moment.
Yep.
Alright. Bonkers, you need to go bye-bye. So let's start with Cutter. Cutter we've technically already seen, but I'll go ahead and show it off. Let's see, we've got throw a boomerang all over, slash, jab, strike. You can even cut ropes. So let's see, standard B is Cutter Boomerang, dash and B is Cutter Dash. I will also make mention which dash attacks have iframes and which ones don't. For the most part, most of them do. And if any of your movesets or moves in a given moveset are going to have iframes, it's dash attacks. So let's see. Yeah, we have Cutter Boomerang, Cutter Dash, hold B in the air, sweep Cutter. I think that's just holding your blade out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just holding your blade out. Not very useful. And then Cutter Dash, you do get some iframes with that. Cutter Drop, that's one you've seen me do a few times, actually. That's this move here. You apparently also have iframes during that, because I managed to iframe through that Waddle Doo's beam attack. Beam Your Foe is your melee attack, and if you do a 3-hit combo, you'll do Non-Stop and Final Cutter, which anybody who's played Kirby and Smash knows what Final Cutter is. Let's see. You keeping notes, Kupo?
Yep.
Next up is Fighter. You get this from Knuckle Joe. Oh yeah, you get Cutter from Sir Kibble. Now, Fighter's interesting, as I said before. Hi-ya! Hold the B button longer for a stronger blow. That punch is an instant knockout. Now, set blow strength by holding B. Short is basically just like quick tap, like split second tap. You'll do the weaker one. If you press it and hold it for like half a second, you'll do the stronger one. So regular B is Vulcan Jab and Smash Punch, which is... Vulcan Jab is this. This is the rapid fire. You have to mash this one. Smash Punch, just press and hold. Let's see. Dash and B, leg sweep or spin kick? Okay, that was the spin kick. That's the leg sweep. Now, despite the after images that show up with the spin kick, you do not have iframes while doing that. You can be hit out of it. Let's see, and then B in the air is down kick or double kick. Double kick is basically the same thing as smash punch, just in the air. Generally speaking, I don't like using fighter because the discrepancy between the light and the heavy hits is really, really finicky, even on native hardware. So, yeah. Not my favorite ability. It does have a grab, though. Let's see, up and hold B is rising break. Now, this is... Yeah, you have to press and hold it to do it. As you can see, I'm holding up, but just a light tap makes me do Vulcan Jab. So that's important to note. Let's see, and this does have a grab. Grab and B is arm throw, and if you hold backwards when you have an enemy grab, or down, you will do a judo throw. So let me see if I can grab somebody. Grabs are a bit finicky, though. As you can see. I wanted to grab him, but I guess not. He got Shoryukened instead.
And I guess while you're doing that, I can take a quick mention. Things the game consider as an enemy to grab can be very funny sometimes, because there are certain things you wouldn't think you can grab, but you can.
Yeah,
like bombs.
Yeah, you can grab bombs, you can grab, Okay, this isn't working. Like, I remember one of the reasons I also don't like fighter is the grab, in particular, is really finicky.
Yeah.
Like, any other ability that has a grab... There we go. So let's do a regular throw, like that. Okay, let me try doing forward an attack to try and do the grab. Nope, that was a dash attack. See, I'm doing the correct button combinations, but it's just not working. Let me just see. Does down count for the grab? Yeah, down counts for it, but he wants to do both Vulcan Jab instead. Okay, I'm going to go up top and get a Maxim Tomato. I would like to show... Oh, there isn't one here. Okay, then, let's leave, come back, and make those respawn. Because you can die in here. Wait, did leaving and coming back fully heal me? Huh, I didn't know these rooms did that. Alright, let's try it with a Waddle... Never mind, Waddle Dee's not gonna do it. Kirby just wanted to throw a punch instead. Again, not a huge fan of fighter. Bit too finicky for me. Okay, you know what? To hell with the judo throw. I'm sick of trying to do this and just running face first into enemies. Yeah. This is being way too inconsistent, and it's getting on my nerves. Fact of the matter is, you can throw, it's not reliable, don't bother with it. Okay, mirror. This mirror has odd powers. Deflect projectiles or project doubles of yourself. B's mirror cut, that's hitting with the staff. Despite the name of that move, that does not cut ropes. Hold B is reflect force. You can reflect projectiles and quite a few other things with that, actually. Dash and B is mirror body, and blocking is reflect guard. Now, I believe we can actually, if this guy will do it, like, Waddle Doos will do the beam attack. I want to see if I can reflect that. I seem to remember... Yeah, you can, see? Come on. Do your beam. Fine. These guys are not being cooperative. You know what? Heck with both of y'all. Yeah, you can see, bounces beam right back at him. And then, of course, we have Reflect Guard, which I think, actually... Yeah, that does it too. Now, let's see, I am slightly damaged. That did fully heal me. Interesting. That's nice that leaving a stage like that fully heals you. Alright, we'll go cover beam next. Flail this beam like a whip. It has many useful attacks. Try to store up a super shot. B is the beam whip. Dash B is cycle beam. Dash B in air is beam blast, which we've seen already. Capture beam is the grab. Hold B long and release is wave beam. Now, unlike Fighter, Beam's grab is actually consistent. Take that. Way more generous of a hitbox than Fighter's grab is. You still with me, Kupo? You're being awfully quiet.
Yeah. Just trying to think of anything we missed, but no, nothing.
Like, look how much more consistent this grab is compared to Fighter. I've not missed it once.
Yeah, there's a reason I really do not like. I also do not like Fighter at all.
Alright, and the final ability up here, Fire. Fire is both really powerful and also hilarious.
Yes.
Burn bright with fire power, light the fuse. Yow, hot, you're on fire, man. Yow. I'm disappointed in you, Kupo. I expected a robot roller derby disco dodgeball reference and you failed me.
Oh. Dang it. Wait, no, I missed that. No. You're on fire.
You're on fire.
Oh my.
Okay, I'm going to expect you to make up for it while I'm covering this.
Oh, no.
So anyway, B is Fire Breath. If you use the D-pad while you have Fire Breath out, it's press and hold for Fire Breath, by the way. You can aim your fire, press and hold B, which is Fire Breath, and then aim it towards yourself, Fireball Inferno. So let's go ahead and cover that. Ooh, piece of candy. Yeah, as you can see, you can actually extend the range of the Fire Breath. Aim it up, aim it down. And if you aim it towards yourself... Oh god!
You're on fire.
This attack actually does a lot of damage if you can manage to hit an enemy with it without hitting yourself. Because your collision hitbox is still there, and you can take damage. But it's insanely good if you can hit something with it.
And it's so funny when you do hit something with it.
Okay, so Dash and B is Burn. Burn gives you iframes, and in most other Kirby games, it's actually a separate power on its own. B in the air is Fireball Spin. B prior to landing is Fireball Roll. So let's do Burn. Unfortunately, not the most powerful of attacks.
Yeah, the big benefit of Burn is it is really, really fast if you do a bunch of them in a row.
Yeah, really fast, has really long reach, too. Like, the Hammer Dash only gets me there. Burn would get me, like, here.
Yeah.
It's got really good range. So now we have Hammer. This Hammer packs a wallop. Punish stakes and blocks. When it's on fire, foes beware. So B is Hammer. Dash and B is Hammer Swing. B in the air is Giant Swing. So Hammer, Hammer Dash, Hammer Swing. Or Giant Swing. Dash B in the air is Ultra Giant Swing. Up and B is Hammer Flip. Now Dash and X is not something I will ever do. because if you do dash and X, you throw your hammer away and get rid of your power. If you're going to do that, you might as well just summon a helper.
Yeah.
And actually, fun fact, the helpers have the exact same moveset as Kirby does for their given power. Hammer is an exception. Bonkers cannot use hammer throw. Alright, so sword. You wield the King of Blades. At full health, you shoot beams. Show your sword mastery. So chop. Chop with full health, you fire a sword beam. B after chop is an uppercut, and a 3-hit combo is the multi-sword attack. So chop, you can see the sword beam being fired there. Now notice, you can turn around mid-combo, so you can hit things behind you if need be. Dash and B is stab, that gives you iframes. Dash and B in the air is sword spin, that does not give you iframes. B after jumping is chop and thrust. Down and B is the down thrust.
Down thrust is interesting because down thrust does a lot more damage than you think it would do.
And yeah, and it also like bounces you off of the enemy, so if you're really good with your positioning, you can pogo stick off of an enemy's head with it.
Yeah.
Do note though, in order for it to work, you cannot be dashing. And it's really easy to like kickstart a dash, especially when you're like me and just constantly try doing dash attacks. Alright, bomb! Grab a bomb and hold the button to set the throw angle. Toss it, it'll go kaboom! Okay, press beam, ready the bomb. Ready the bomb and B again, bomb throw. Set the throw angle by holding B. So what this means is you'll notice when I pull a bomb out, when I hold B, a targeting reticle shows up. I'm not the biggest fan of bomb just because the throw angle's never consistent. And you can also hurt yourself with bomb, because if you take a bomb out and you don't throw it for a bit, Kirby will start running. And yeah, you blow yourself up. Let's see, dash plus bomb throw is straight throw. Now that's actually a really nice one. Be near foe is bomb drop. I don't know what that is. I don't think I've ever gotten that one to work. And then down and B is bomb set. So Oh, that's like bomb's quote-unquote grab. You just give an enemy a bomb. I thought you had to press... I thought you had to, like, press towards the enemy to do that. No, you just have to be standing next to them. That's funny. And that is classed as a grab by the game. Like, you can do that to projectiles and stuff, too. Like, you can actually do that to an enemy bomb if you somehow find yourself in that situation.
Now you just gave me an idea of something I have to do now.
You have to blow up a bomb with a bomb. Let's see, and then bomb set, which is down. Now, bomb set is really spammable, as you can see.
You want to leave a giant mind full of bombs, here you go.
Next, Ninja. I showed off Bios. Oh, I forgot to mention the enemies that actually give these abilities. Let's see, Sir Kibble. We've gone over Sir Kibble. We've gone over Knuckle Joe. Mirror is given by Samir. Fire is given by Burning Leo. Beam is given by Waddle Doo, which there's some Waddle Doos down there that we've been practicing on. Hammer is a mini-boss ability that comes from Bonkers. Sword comes from two enemies, actually, Sword Knight or Blade Knight. Bomb comes from both a regular enemy and a mini-boss. Puppy Brothers Jr. is the little elf dudes with the hats. Specifically, if they're throwing bombs at you, you can get the bomb ability from them. And Poppy Brothers Sr., who we've fought a few times already, will also give you the bomb ability. Biospark, it gives you Ninja. Ninja is just plain cool. It's got one of the cooler grabs in the game. Hide in shadows and darkness. Use ninja skills on your mission. You're a ninja. A ninja! Cool.
Ninja.
So, B, you throw knives, kunai knives specifically. Hold B is Quad Shock. Now, Quad Shock, you actually have to hit an enemy in order for it to work. Dash in B is Dash Attack. I don't think this Dash Attack gives you iframes, because I have been hit out of it. Down in B is the Ninja Kick. So, yaha! Wata! Let's throw some kunai here. Now here is Quad Shock. You'll notice if I don't hit anything, it just does like a slash. But if I do hit something, bam! That shockwave does a lot of damage.
It's also a really good boxer if Hammer did not exist.
Yeah. Okay. Any plus B near foe, airdrop. That is the grab. Anybody who's played Smash and used Kirby's up grab will recognize this one. Aha! Let's see. Then we have Hide Guard. Take damage plus B. This one kind of lets you, like, ninja smoke vanish after taking damage. I think you actually have to get hit by an attack in order for it to count. No? It's not working. Like, that's kind of like one of those things that I trigger on accident more often than not.
Yeah, I forgot to time how that works.
And then if you push against a wall while you're in the air, you can cling to the wall and then wall jump off of it. This ability in particular, the wall jumping, is kind of superfluous because, you know, Kirby can fly. But nice touch anyway, I guess. And the final power we can get here is Plasma. Plasma you get from Plasma Wisp. We've seen those, I think, once or twice. Tap the control pad to make and store an electric charge. Plasma shots go through walls. That is important. You can see I'm going through the wall there. So rotate the control pad to charge up. No charge in B is Plasma Needle, which is this. A little bit of charge. You'll notice it goes through enemies, too. So a little bit of charge.
So good at cheesing puzzles.
Oh, it is. Some charge is Plasma Arrow. That's Plasma Arrow. And let's see, some charge is... More charge is Plasma Spark. Lots of charge is Plasma Laser. I think that was Plasma Wave. Maybe that is Plasma Laser. Tons of charge plus Plasma... Oh, that's the... That's charge release, Plasma Barrier. Okay. Tons of charge plus B... Ah, okay, so yeah, no. Plasma Wave is when you have a max charge, you'll notice you have this little barrier of electricity around you. That actually does cause contact damage to enemies if they run into it. See? And then this is Plasma Wave. Boom! That is the most powerful attack that Plasma has. And then if you release it, that's the Plasma Barrier, I think is what they call it. Yeah. Now, there's a trick with Plasma that makes it a bit less of a hassle, because you'll notice I'm kind of like scooting and dancing all over the place while trying to charge this. What the game doesn't tell you is that you can build up a charge while guarding and maintain your position. This is also one of those abilities that, while nice on Kirby, is much nicer on the helper. Okay.
Also said helper can ignore walls.
I don't think I've ever managed to do that, but granted, I've only played this game multiplayer, I think, twice. Unless you're talking about just, like, attacking through walls.
I think just go straight through walls.
I know the...
forever.
I know the enemy variant can, but... Anyway, so we'll start from the front and go back. We've seen this one before. This is the ability you get from Tack, which is Copy. Use a strange light to analyze and then copy foes' abilities. Might you learn weird ones? Analyze Beam copies a foe's ability. Basically all this does is this lets you have your original power without having to swallow anybody. However, if an enemy doesn't have a power, it will just outright kill them. Now, the copy ability actually does have a couple of niche uses, but we'll go into that later. Specifically for Kirby, not for the helper. It also works as basically letting player 2 play as a second Kirby.
Yeah.
And here we have Ice. Freeze foes with Icy Breath. Kick ice cubes into others. When you dash, you skate. Dash is Ice Skate. B is Ice Breath. Now, unlike Fire, you cannot angle the Ice Breath. B in air is Ice Sprinkle. Dash attack B in air is Super Ice Sprinkle. It's kind of like Hammer. Dash plus hold B or B 3 times in rapid succession is Ice Storm. Now, that's this ability here. Now, Ice Storm, kind of like how Fire has Burn, Ice Storm is usually its own separate ability in some games called Freeze. Let's see, any plus B near foe is Ice Suction. Ice does have a grab. And then you can just straight up spit the enemy out as an ice cube. And then tap Frozen Foe is Ice Kick. You'll notice I've been turning these enemies into little ice blocks. Just touching it sends it flying, and any enemy it collides with takes damage. Next is Suplex. Suplex is fun. You want to grab? This is Grab the Power.
I love Suplex.
This burns with fighting spirit. Grab throws and throw them. Learn all 8 throws and be a champ. So B is Dash Grab. Now, something important about this, despite the fact that Kirby is flashing while doing it, you do not have iframes while doing this. If you hit an enemy that you cannot grab, you'll just harmlessly bounce off of them, and if you're unlucky, probably take damage. Dash plus B is Turbo Dash Grab, which, again, does not give you iframes. And as you can see, Kirby also has a bit of a, kind of a wind down, where if you miss, you're vulnerable. So you really got to pick and choose your opportunities to grab here. Now, tap and down and B in the air, pinpoint kick. This is the only direct damage attack that Suplex has that doesn't require you to grab somebody. And much like with Sword and Down Thrust, you can repeatedly bounce off an enemy's head with this. And then B when grabbing. Now here is where we're actually going to start, like, going over some stuff with grabs. B when grabbing is Fury Stomp if you just want to outright kill your enemy. B near the foe is Lift. It's kind of like Bomb Drop where it's just you pick them up. So let's see. Now this assumes you're facing right. Up is the backbreaker. Let's do a backbreaker. Ooh! Now you'll notice whenever I throw an enemy, the enemy is treated as a projectile. And that projectile enemy will kill other enemies it hits. That's part of the reason that makes grabs so good. Okay, so down is the body slam. Unfortunately, the body slam is not very good for actually, like, using as a projectile. Forward is the pile driver. And then back is the big suplex. Ollie would approve. Let's see, B is Torrent Lariat, which I think is just punching people. Yeah. Just punch. Okay, and then jumping after grabbing is the rock drop. Oh, wrong one. Boom! That's very flashy. I like that.
What I like about that one is you can double hit stuff with that because you get one hit from you doing the drill, and then one hit from the projectile that the enemy turns into.
That sounds very nice. Okay, so all but down in the air is air body slam, which means I gotta do that to one of these Bronto Berts in here. I think I mistimed that. Am I doing that right? Like, the timing is really tight because I don't have a whole lot of air room. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing that right. I'm not doing that fast enough. Plunge body slam. Oh, it's because I'm hitting attack. I'm just supposed to hit a direction. I mean, that looks like the same thing. And that's it. Okay, next is Parasol. I've gone over Parasol before. I don't like Parasol because its dash attack is garbage. Now, guard against falling objects, pull to attack or just drift, or do a Parasol throw. The nice thing about Parasol is the actual Parasol itself acts as a shield. Like against those falling coconuts, for example. If they tried falling on my head, they would instead hit the Parasol and not damage me. You can also, like, jump into flying enemies and damage them with the Parasol like that as well. So it has its own hitbox, which is very nice. Parasol swing.
One of the weirdest air movements too.
Yeah, it does. It makes you drift. So we have the Parasol hit, Parasol spin. In Squeak Squad, this gets upgraded to shoot projectiles. Let's see. Parasol drill, the dash attack. I don't like this because you don't get iframes. So if the enemy doesn't kill them the first time you hit them, you're going to take collision damage. Oh, I accidentally grabbed a guy. I didn't mean to do that. Ooh. Let's see, down and B in the air is Parasol Dive.
Oh. You just reminded me of something I did once with Parasol, that grab.
Well, you mean this? Oh, well, running into an enemy, yes.
Yeah. I remember doing that once with a cannonball.
A cannon... Oh, like from a Shotzo?
Yeah! No, not from a Shotzo. The boss cannonball.
Oh, what?
I don't know how I ever did that, but I did it once.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try that now. Okay, now, dropping, as in, like, dropping from the air, this is what Kupo was referring to. You just kind of drift. You can press down to just drop. B underwater is Parasol drill, it's just your dash without pushing you forward. And down B underwater is Parasol dive, which is the same as this. Okay, this ability's garbage, I'm getting rid of it. Oh yeah, I believe the ice enemy is called Freezy? I think that's his name? Or Chili, that's his name, Chili. Suplex comes from Bugsy, it's a mini-boss only ability. Parasol comes from Parasol Waddle Dees or Parasol Waddle Doos. Here we have Jet. This one's a mobility tool, basically.
Jet's my favorite.
Strap
Jet is fun.
Strap Jet power to your back. Hold the B button to charge and then let go to hit Mach 5. So I'll let Kupo explain this one.
Okay, there's a slight delay, so it might take me a second to think all of that. So So Jet's entire gimmick is you can charge and hold an attack for later, and the full power charge will make you invincible during it. But you can also just release it early, though you're going to be weak during that entire thing. The other thing is Jet's air mobility is the fastest in the game. Like, it is insanity if you just chain them together. And then, let's see, the other important thing is the, what's the grab button for that again?
Let's see. Okay, jet dash must be any of those, and release be near a foe, jet blow.
Yeah. And there's two variations of that. There's one variation without charge and one variation with charge.
It's just really tricky to do on purpose.
Yeah. The one with charge takes advantage of the thing I said with suplex, where you hit something twice and steps it up to 11. Because it does the damage of a hammer flip twice in a row if you can hit both the dive and the...
There we go!
Yeah.
That was the weak one, I think.
Yeah, that's the weak one.
I actually saw Star do this once, and I tried doing it, and it worked, but I could only do it the once.
Yeah, the problem is there's a very specific timing you have to get used to with it. Because I used to be able to do it very consistently on boss stuff. Like, for example, on Krakow, you can just instantly end Krakow by grabbing the Wallaby that gets deaded. I mean, the Wallaby that spawns, and immediately just suplexing right into it.
Let me try that again. Ah. Oh yeah, your exhaust can hurt enemies too.
Oh yeah, that's the other big thing about it. While you're charging, you can hit stuff. The same thing with your air mobility. You can hit stuff while you're floating in the air.
Let's see, yeah, you got the fart grab. Now what I like using Jet for is the Ultra Jet Jump is really nice. Now, something the game doesn't tell you is it tells you in order to store a charge, you have to jump. That's not the case, as you've seen me do. You can actually store a charge by blocking. Now, for actual practical combat purposes, I like using Jet's projectile, like Shockwave Shield, or Shockwave Attack. That does a surprising amount of damage. Now, I don't think we've actually seen a Jet enemy yet. It's called Capsule J2. So next is Wing. Wing is a lot like Jet, whereas it's a mobility ability for the most part. It's also very flashy. Mid-air spins and shuttle loops. Spread your wings and fly, little Kirby. Doesn't that feel good? B is Feather Gun, otherwise known as the Armpit Cannon, because look at that. That's what else is that?
The Armpit Cannon, exactly. And
then basically Wing is like nothing but grabs and dash attacks mainly. Condor Head. You do have iframes during most of Condor Head. Let's see, Bomber Head, which is down there. No, in no relation to the Bomber Head from Dark Cloud. Yeah, it's even called Bomber Head. Let's see, Dash, Jump, Down, and B is Condor Dive. Now, when you're doing Bomber Head or Condor Dive, you actually don't want to hit the enemy directly. What you want to hit them with is that Shockwave. That Shockwave does a lot of damage.
And on some bosses, that Shockwave just really finishes them off quickly, especially if there's multiple of them.
Mm-hmm. And then Grab is Toss. B after the Toss is Shuttle Loop. Shuttle Loop is probably one of the weakest throws in the game. because while you are invincible during it, notice where you end up. You end up just kind of like floating in the air, and most bosses that you can do throws against, when you do Shuttle Loop, when it ends, you're right in their hitbox and eating collision damage.
Yep.
So, not good for throwing. And then A in the air is, well, you can fly. Now, we have seen a wing enemy. They go by the name of Birdon. And here's everybody's favorite one-trick pony, Stone. Pound, pound, crush! Change into many heavy forms. When on a slope, you'll slide. I don't think that works on these. No. Now, something nice about Stone is Stone only really has, 3 moves. Change into a stone in midair and smash something, dash and B, turn into a stone while dashing. While you're in stone form, you cannot be hurt. So something... Go ahead, Kupo.
So when I was talking about a few things that can compete with Hammer's damage, Stone is unironically one of them, and I don't like why.
Just because of how much damage the air one does?
Because you can just repeatedly enter and exit the air one to hit this boss multiple times in a row.
Yep.
And if the boss loves staying in the air, you can out DPS Hammer.
Makes sense. Now, there is actually a couple of Easter eggs associated with Stone, because you'll notice every time I transform into a different object. There actually are, like, percentages and odds for what item appears. And there are some pretty rare ones. Like, I believe in the SNES version, the Easter egg was a Samus statue. And the Samus statue's still there, but in this version, there's actually a rarer one, which is a golden Mario statue. I think I've only seen the Mario statue once. Let's see, there's bricks, the 8-ton weight, the thwomp. Let's see, the fist. Bricks again, the Kirby statue. Ah, now this is actually an Easter egg. That's a reference to Dreamland 2, I think. What's his name? Kine?
Yeah, Kine.
Let's see, Kine. Stone with a rock on it. Or, yeah, stone with a rock on it. Rock and stone, yada yada. Mushroom.
Mushroom.
Stone with a star on it. I'm surprised I haven't seen, like, the bodybuilder statue. Case in point! Ask and ye shall receive, apparently. I will also note that whatever item you transform into does not affect your damage. I think it does affect your hitbox, though. Oh, well, we got a volcano, which I think was supposed to be Mount Fuji. Let's see. Oh, well, that was Rick, I think. Rick the hamster. And then bodybuilder again.
The funny one about the Machu statue is it actually changes if you go into it while you're going down a slope.
Oh, doesn't it make it flex?
Yeah.
I'll have to try that sometime if I can actually find a slope while I have stone. I don't use stone too often because while stone is powerful, I find it very boring.
Yeah, that's why I don't like stone.
There's Kine again. I don't remember what the chances are for, like, the Samus and the Mario statue to show up. They're pretty rare, I do remember that. And then Rocky is the enemy we get stone from. Now, Wheel actually has 2 abilities associated with it. There's Wheel and Wheelie Rider. So, Wheel. Roll to be nearly invincible or ride a wheel helper. Beware thorns and holes. Yeah, you can't drive through spikes, and bottomless pits will still kill you. Dash and stop dash works on water. You can drive over water, though I don't think the game ever requires you to do that. Jumping while dashing makes you break, and then holding it makes you go slow. Something to note: while you're doing this, you're invincible, unless you're turning. You do have iframes while you're doing this, as you can see. However, if you go slow, you lose your iframes, and there's legit no reason to, like, ever do it. Actually, I can think of one reason to do that. You can do a turn by turning while dashing. You can do a turn jump, but I don't know what the purpose of the turn jump is. So that's Wheel. Let's look at Wheelie Rider. There we go. Wheelie Rider. Hop on your bike, Wheelie Rider. Go for a drive with a friend. Use teamwork to roll ahead. This is only going to show us, I believe... Yeah, only the single-player version of Wheelie Rider, which is Rider Dash Release, Rider Jump. You can turn, do a turn jump, and then you can dismount. Now, something interesting to note about Wheelie Rider in comparison to Wheelie is that Wheelie Rider, while dashing, can jump, unlike regular Wheel. And you can see, oh, you can still do the turn jump too, I guess. I didn't think you could, but there you go. And I can't show it off here because it's a single player, but in multiplayer, the second person, who is the wheelie, will actually control the bike, whereas the person controlling Kirby will get an omnidirectional projectile attack. And wheel you get from wheelie. We've seen wheelies before. And the final one of the lot, but by no means the least, Yo-Yo. We have seen Jim, I think, a total of once. Yo-Yo is probably one of my favorite unique abilities, and as far as I'm aware, it's only appeared in, like, what, 2 or 3 Kirby games?
Sounds about right. I think there was one recent one, but that's about it.
Yeah. This isn't just any yo-yo. Swing up and down or break spin. Try them all to look cool. So B is Yo-Yo Throw. I like to liken the yo-yo ability to the whip from Castlevania. It holds you in place, it has quite a bit of a long range, but it also has some wind up and wind down. But overall, very reliable tool. Now, dash and B is break spin. Break spin does give you iframes, but it's very specific about it. You'll notice at the start of break spin, Kirby kind of does like a half cartwheel to actually get on the ground. You can get hurt by enemies during that particular frame of the animation, but during the actual spin, when he's like doing that kick, you're invincible. So the timing is a bit more tight if you're using that to dodge, but it is feasible. Let's see, yo-yo up and yo-yo down. Yo-yo up and yo-yo down are... That's a grab. Yo-yo up and yo-yo down are shorter range, but they execute faster. So if you're looking for higher DPS, you want to use one of these. If you need range, you use the regular one. Dash and B in the air is jump spin. I don't think you get iframes for doing that. I could be wrong, though. I've never tried it. And then grab a foe. Wait, hammer drop? Huh. I didn't think it'd be called hammer drop, considering, you know, this isn't a hammer.
Yeah, we just stick with the namings.
Whatever. And then probably one of my favorite moves for how flashy and practical it is, down up B, Gazer Spiral. This is going to be awkward to do with a controller, but that's it right there. Much like the break spin, you do have iframes while doing Gazer Spiral. God, that's... I thought the timing was tight on a DS D-pad. On an Xbox 360 controller, that's really tight. I'm going to have to practice that. And those stars you see shooting off of Kirby when he's doing that, those count as projectiles and can damage enemies. So I think that's all the abilities we've seen so far. I don't think that's all the abilities in the game, but that is most of them. So anyway, let's go take on Dynablade. Now, I'm going to stick with Yo-Yo, even though we do get like access to Cutter, Beam, Fire, and Sword. If you're picking one of these four, I would suggest Beam, because Dynablade is really, really, really susceptible to grabs. You can't grab her yourself, but you can grab and throw stuff that she sends at you, and she takes a lot of damage from thrown projectiles.
Yes.
The only throw I would suggest not using on her is Shuttle Loop, because you'll just end up inside her hitbox and being going, owie. Watch. Wha-bam! Look at that damage. Wha-bam! Bam!
This is one of those where you come in with Jet and it just does stupid stuff.
Rip Dynablade. Oh, the cacophony!
Oh.
I like how Wispy's just like, hey, why are you feeding my kids to her kids?
Do you want me to beat you up again, Wispy?
No.
To be continued.
Now, that actually gets continued in a story that we haven't unlocked yet. So, Koopa, where do you want to go next?
Now we do the good old gourmet race.
Gourmet race it is. I also, while we're doing this, for those of you who are wondering why getting this going took so long, first off, I had to get a DS emulator because I didn't have one. The first one I used had a multitude of problems. The first of which being, you'll notice how smooth the cutscenes are. If you actually look up a Let's Play of this game on YouTube, most people who have done an emulated Let's Play of this game, you'll notice that the CGI cutscenes, or like the cutscenes that we see here, are out of sync with the music. This emulator that I'm using, which is not the first one I initially tried, actually does fix that issue. But the biggest issue that I had with the initial test with the first emulator is the first emulator, whenever there was a screen transition, you'll notice the screen flashes white. On that old emulator, they would flash all sorts of colors, like red, green, blue. I saw fuchsia at one point. It was bad. I'm not epileptic, but there's no telling who in my audience might be, and I didn't want to put anybody at risk from a very common thing happening in the game. So anyway, that's what took this so long. To Gourmet Race, and I had to do some more editing. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
There's, again, just some stray pixels. I need to edit the top screen. I thought I had this transform perfected, but I guess not. Okay, let's try a couple of pixels. Perfect, there we go. None of the bottom screen is poking into the top now. So, Gourmet Race is a bit different. You don't have a health bar, it is just straight up a race. You want to beat King DDD. Now, you don't have to strictly get the food, but getting the food helps. And Koopa is going to really appreciate what I'm going to do on the final leg of this race. Now, getting food does help, but winning the races is what contributes most of your points. So try and get first place if at all possible.
Something hilariously silly I figured out once a while back is, if Kirby does his air puff on the food will somehow disappear and count as being eaten.
Yeah, I was actually about to bring that up. No. Woo! I think that's the closest I've ever come to actually losing to him. Alright, so what I'm going to do in this one is I'm going to make DDD cry, and I'm going to make Kupo very happy. Come here!
Oh, I love the air mobility of this. So good. Like, it is not even fair at this point.
No, it's not. And here's the thing, I have the easiest time with Jet in that one. 195's not bad. I think my record's 240. Yeah, as you can see, winning the races contributed a lot more to my score than getting the food did. You can also do time attack, which is beat your best time. So we might as well try and get a best time here, so let's take a look. This is also good for practicing the courses if you're having some trouble against King Dedede.
Yeah. Also just really good in general for getting Kirby's movement down.
Yep. 21 seconds. Now, if we actually go back in there, I think it might actually, like, automatically do it. Hang on. Okay, 21 seconds. If we go back in there, we now have a Kirby Ghost we have to try and race against. Oh, how did I get turned around? Jeez. Yeah, I'm not beating my best time on this one. Now, I forget if this ghost copies your best time or just your previous time. Let's see. If it bounces off those first set of blocks, we'll know it was the previous time. Nope, it's your best time. All right. Like milliseconds difference.
Nice.
Now, part of the problem I'm having with this is my emulator screen doesn't actually completely cover up what I'm seeing in OBS, so I'm technically getting, like, double vision. So it's kind of throwing me off.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a consistent problem throughout the Let's Play, but thankfully this game's pretty short. Okay, that should not be a hard time to beat. Ah, my finger slipped. How did I do that? That was literally like the fraction of a second. Should I try that again?
Hey, I think we take those.
So let me show off a couple of the other abilities that are in here. I think Wheel's one of them. Let's see. Jet, Parasol, Ninja, Wing. Ninja is a beginner's trap in here.
So, of the four, I think Wing is unironically the fastest. It's just the way to do it the fastest is absurdly hard.
Yeah, because you have to be really good with managing your momentum.
Yeah.
Okay, so Wheel got it in like a little under a minute. Let's check out the other ones. We'll start with your favorite. Okay, so about 3 seconds difference. Let's try, let's see, Parasol next, I think is what's after Jet.
Yeah.
Now, Parasol, I actually know, has a lot of horizontal momentum.
Just like watching the jet just zoom past at times.
I don't think I'm gonna beat that one. Yeah, because, well, Parasol's really good at horizontal. It sucks at going up.
Oh, yeah.
I think, now that I'm actually looking at the course, I think the draw for Ninja is the wall jump, actually.
That might be it. Yeah, that entire last part you can wall jump up.
Help if I stop getting turned around. Thanks, controls. This would be even easier if this was Ninja from Squeak Squad, because Ninja Kirby from Squeak Squad can walk on water.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, Ninja's actually the fastest at 53 so far.
Like I said, the wall jumps at the end is just good.
I mean, it was also the verticality from the drop kicks.
True.
Alright, let's try wing.
So much momentum controlling.
Yep. I don't think I'm getting any better than that.
Wing is I was like, that's why I said Wing is the fastest here.
Yep. The only thing left is Great Cave Offensive, and we're about an hour 41 in. You want to save that for next time?
Yeah, because Great Cave is long.
Yeah. But we'll probably save Great Cave Offensive for next time. I mean, that's not bad getting through 3 of, like, what? I'm trying to think.
Like, we basically got through the intro ones.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, like, total, how many games there are? There's, like, 9 or 10, I think.
Yeah.
So 30% of the game's in about an hour 40.
Not bad.
Yeah, no, not bad. And that's even taking time in Dynablade to show off everything. Okay, so I think this will do for this episode. We'll see y'all next time.
Laters.